Rise and shine, people. It is Sunday morning. Is it June 16th? We're halfway through June. My goodness gracious, the time is flying. So when they tell you as you get older, time slows down, that simply is not true. I have had a 3-day weekend, though, and just enjoying it, enjoying the weather. It's supposed to be 90 degrees today, so a very good chance I'm probably in for the day after I talk to you guys. Just to do a little gaming, play. I'm 16-0, I believe, in Madden. I'm going for 17-0 later on today. May play some Helldivers too if I have a chance to. They did a big update, and it's gotten a huge bump from gamers, over 80%. Also, congratulations to Sony and Bungie with the perfect shape or the perfect dark, whatever, the perfect whatever. You know, it's allegedly doing very well. It's been received very well. I have to wait and see what they got. I've heard the hardcore Destiny players saying that, nah, Destiny's back and it's doing very well, things like that. So another games as a service that Sony has bought through a publisher is doing fine. So I think that's great news. And so the more you all have to play, I don't play Destiny. I've maybe played Destiny 4. I played Destiny 1 longer than I've played Destiny Part 2. That's hard to believe, I know. But Destiny 1 I played for at least 12 hours. Destiny 2 maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I think I did maybe the first 3 to 5 missions. It's been such a long time ago, though. So that was early PS4 or something like that, or mid PS4, something like I can't remember. But congratulations to Sony and Bungie and the people playing it. I'm not knocking that. That's what you like. Go ahead and like what you like. But shout out to you all this morning. I know it's early, so big shout out to Monty White. He says rise and grind. Oh, don't you know it? Let's see here. Riaros is in the house. First party next year is Fable or Doom. Fable and Doom. Well, Doom, again, they have and I mean, they have first party games, but they are, they're multi-plat games. It's, again, no difference than Destiny. Destiny, by default, is a first party game because it's being integrated into SIE. But it's still a multi-plat game, and that's fine. I'm not knocking that. That's their strategy. Get these games out on as many platforms as they can. That way they can get the microtransactions and things like that going, because that's what keeps those games alive. It's the microtransactions. So, I will be. I've had a 3-day weekend, so did that a little bit earlier. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and I want to make sure I'm talking about the men out there. I'm not talking about these women that are saying I'm the mother and I'm the father and I should get something because they have low self-esteem and they don't have any common sense. So. If it's not anybody else's fault but yours, that you played yourself, like H.O.T.A.S said back in the late 80s, early 90s. So you played yourself. But yeah, we went out, me and my girl, and we took her niece to go see, and I want to make this clear, we went to go see Inside Out Part 2, and just we're in there just having a ball. I love the new personalities, the sadness, the depression, all that stuff. That was hilarious. That was fun to watch. And that's, if you don't know, that's made by Disney. It's distributed through Disney. And so Disney, and that movie is projected to this weekend, the weekend we're on now, the projections are 138 to 140 million. The actuals could actually hit 144 million. So I've tried to tell people this 100,000 times. Disney is fine. They're fine. They've got a hit animation show. They've got a superhero movie coming out, and Deadpool and Wolverine. People got to remember, Disney bought Fox, and that's a Disney MCU movie. It's rated R, and that's the way it's going to be. But that movie is still early tracking. That's going to hit close to or right at $1 billion. I think it's going to be like 888 million. I've got it pegged at that. How do I get my number? I just follow different trades and talk to different. I actually know some people that work. Got to remember, in Hollywood at different studios. I'm an old man, and when all that stuff was getting started with CGI and things like that, a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people that I knew left Kentucky and went to different schools out west and learn how to do that stuff. Like I said, I know the guy who did, if you watch episode 1 of Star Wars, the guy who did the pod racing scene, I know him. Like, I physically know that guy. He works for Industrial Lights and Magic. So, and he also, again, was on the same team to help do Thanos' CGI. He was part of that team, not the people out there filming it. I want to make this clear, not the people on the set, but he was in the production behind that. And the reason why Thanos looks the way he looks is because of the team and the machine learning and all that stuff. Or I should say machine learning. Shout out to Porter Rock, that they've got, which you all are just now learning about. But they've been using machine learning in Hollywood since, I don't know, the early 80s when Tron came out. You know, so that was some of your first machine learning. But it was so primitive compared to now. My goodness gracious. So, but we'll forget enough about me and my boring Father's Day. I had mine sort of on the other day. So I wanted to show you all the new joystick, or HOTAS. HOTAS stands for hands-on throttle and stick. This is my new one, and it's a beauty. Now, don't get confused. It looks like metal, but it's plastic. Now, it's a good hard plastic, but as you can see here, I've got all these hats. That button right there is my unlock, uncage button for the F-16. My target managing switch is here. And this thing rolls like a knob. I mean, that's a knob, okay? So you can do up, down, left, right. Same with here. Same with this right here. You know, up, down, left, right. So I may change point of view, though, because this clearly says POV. And I may go up to this. But this is a different, this is my shooting button. And, of course, on the front side of it, see if I can show you that. That silver button right there, that's the trigger. That's the gun trigger. So this is what I've been trying to get. Shout out to the community for the donations. And you can see here more and more switches, and everything is literally mapped on the HOTAS, like 95% of it. There's also 2 buttons on the front here that you cannot see. They don't have it from the other side, I don't think. Let me look. Actually, no. No, that is, hold on. Nope, that's from the back. That's from the side. That's from the side. They have it from the, no, they don't. So you can see these buttons here. There's a roll knob over here. This is a lock. This throttle splits. I don't know if you watch Top Gun Maverick when he says splitting the throttles. This will split. This will split. You can kind of see right there. There's 2 different hookups right there. Didn't have to download any firmware, which did surprise me. And I was able to, I'm still fooling with it. I finally shot a missile off because it was, oh my goodness, it was something else. So, but it's for modern military grade simulation. So you want this type of response and feedback and spring action. You can see the spring right there. You want that type of action, on your, at least I do. So I think either J-Dub has this one, or he's got the Warthog. And the Warthog, I think, is this one. I think. I can't remember, though. Hold on. Let me look. Let's see. HOTAS. There it is, Warthog. Now, this is a different Thrustmaster. I think J-Dub may have this one. I think. Or maybe he has the Viper. This is an F-16 one. If you just want to fly the F-16, this is an actual authenticated F-16. It's hard to believe, isn't it? It's either F-16 or F-18. So it could be F-18 because the F-18's flares are right there at the very top. So right there, flare shaft. But again, if you're really heavy into flight simming, this is the correct stuff to have. I think this Thrustmaster, this is the Viper one. So this is specifically made for the F-16. You even have the gear up, down right here. Turns green because that's the color that's in the Viper. Or the Falcon. I call it the Falcon, but this is just the throttle. See, this is what I be telling people is you can keep the same stick, but what these guys have, and you can see right here, it's got the Air Force official logo on it right there. But what these guys are doing online that are playing DCS is they're spending at least minimum $800 to get their stuff. $800 to get their stuff. So just letting you know that if you want to get into DCS, this is what kind of your expectation, the investment, I should say, that you should have. Here's what that's what it looks like. That's what an F-16 cockpit looks like. You can see that's where this is sitting. So, and here's your stick. That's the F-16 stick. If you only want the stick, here are the pedals that are Thrustmaster pedals. So, and then of course you have the VR setup and things. Again, you don't have to do this, but if you're really interested in doing it, and that's the little watch I bought for $40 because I'm cheap like that. So, but what do you all think? Do you all think that purchase was a nice purchase, or is it a little overkill? So far I'm enjoying it. It is a little, it's higher maintenance, I should say, on it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Corey Massey's right. One of those games that's used to train is Microsoft Flight Sim. They actually will train pilots based in that reality, because that's actually, when you turn up everything, that's about as real as it can get. They even have HOTASes that have feedback, like the steering wheels. You can buy some with no feedback, then you can pay $400 for one that has the feedback. So there are HOTASes like that. But if you're interested in playing DCS, if you have a PC, it's free to download the maps. You have 2 free maps, the Caucasus and the Marianas. I think those are 2 free maps. The Caucasus map has all your training. So now the hard part is going out, and you have to go out and purchase. You have to go out and purchase the modules, and those can cost anywhere from $39. They can cost, from $29.99 to $39.99. I mean, it both work. Okay, you can get 30, 29, 39. I've seen 49. I've seen 59, and I've seen all the way up to, you guessed it, 80, 89. So 80 to 89. So again, up to you all. I almost bought the F4 Phantom yesterday, but that was $80, and I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing it. So I'm like, yeah, I've already spent on this HOTAS. I've got modules, F-18, F-16, F-15, the FC3, which is getting another update. I put that on Twitter. It's supposed to happen sometime this week with the Twitter update that DCS does, and they're going to add the F-86 Sabre, which is the plane predominantly used in the Korean and Vietnam War. With I want to say it was during Vietnam, the F-86 was the primary plane used. So by the United States, the F-86, the F-4s, maybe the F-86 was Korea. But the F4 Phantoms, that's now available to purchase. You could have got it early. I think they take $20 off. So, yeah. But yeah. Now Microsoft Flight Sim, that is the premier de facto top flight sim. The only one that's close to that is X-Plane. And Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, or whatever that game came out, that is the that is the right now that is the premier one, followed very closely by X-Plane. X-Plane is just as good, if not better, in some of their recreations and some of their models. If you want a top high-end military shooter, a DCS and then Falcon 4.0 BMS. I know what Falcon 4.0 BMS, Falcon 4.0 BMS, they have added like the F-15, and I think they're going to add the F-16. They have the F-16, maybe the F-18 possibly, but they're concentrating more on Air Force planes. So F-15, F-16, you'll probably more than likely see the F-4. More than likely Yeah, you can see the F4 on there as well. But I have to wait and see. But things were looking up for that industry, and a lot of people. These HOTASes were inexpensive. Maybe the one I got was $220. That used to only cost $178 to $179. But because of the pandemic that hit, more people were staying home, and because more people were staying home, they jacked up the price of everything from bicycles because people didn't want to be on a bus or be on a train. So people started riding bicycles, and surprise, surprise, the cost of bicycles went up. So I bought my bicycle. It was like $198, and that was on sale. And normally bicycles were in between $89 to $129. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But if you're into simming, into flight simming, which a lot of people are not, I am. I've been playing flight sim games since the late 80s, early 90s. I still have Microsoft Flight Sim 2000 with 4 discs in it, but we're in a world where there's no disc. Everything's digital. So, and that's they pulled Microsoft Flight Sim off the shelves for almost a year and a half because that's the flight sim that the 9/11 hijackers used to train. That's how they knew how to fly those planes. So, but yeah, just wanted to thank you all because without you all's generosity of showing up and some of you going the extra mile of doing a dono war, I was able to get one and got it done. So got it done. So. But moving on. What is new? What is new in gaming, ladies and gentlemen? Well, 2 big stories actually. One is everybody who's screaming to get something called Sly Cooper, which I'm not sure what that is. I don't know what a Sly Cooper is. I've never played it. I'm not here to say it's good or bad. Sly Cooper is allegedly going to get remade, and when it does get remade, there's going to be a port to the Switch. So, and henceforth, why I put up my my poll, which is that put up my poll. I put, do you care if Sly Cooper goes to the Switch or Switch 2? And the majority of you right now that have voted, there's like 30 votes in, and right now the majority of you are saying you don't care. 72% said nope. And 28% are saying that that yes, I'm a pony and I don't want these games going elsewhere. So I think, as I said before, more and more events were going to happen. They were going to separate the gamers from the quote unquote ponies. And a shout out to Big Homie Sick Humor. He talked about this a little bit yesterday, how even though there were people mocking some Xbox games, obviously they're selling. And so they're selling well. And because they sold well, they are now going to be putting the majority of their games from Gears of War, Microsoft Flight Sim, those games will be on the PlayStation coming up. Yes, Halo is coming as well. Halo, Gears. I think Forza Horizon will be pushed over. Microsoft Flight Sim. All that's coming. All that is coming. So, and I want to say shout out to Hip Hop Gamer. He talked about this last week. I linked that last week. It is literally going to be, my understanding is late fiscal 2026 or late 2025. So this time next year, give or take a month or two, you will see more Xbox games coming over. So, and Sony, again, same thing Sony's doing with the PC stuff. Sony's going to put those games out on its console, and because they're doing that, they want a bigger hit as far as an impact of the game. That's why you're seeing Lego. One reason you're seeing Lego Aloy going over to the Switch, because that allows them. One, it's a Lego game, which does very well on the Switch. Those Lego games do sell well, and it introduces a character that, as a Lego character, that maybe they're 9 or 10 years old and they play that game. Then when they turn 13 or 14, they want to play the other version of it. They want to play Zero Dawn. That's the key, is to hook you in early and then bring you along for the ride. The same thing the MCU did. Okay, started out with Iron Man. I went and saw that, but a lot of people didn't. Then they did The Incredible. Then they did the Hulk movie with Ed Norton. And at that point, people were kind of shaking their heads like, what is this? But then, Thor came along and did a decent number. And then then Iron Man 2. I think Iron Man 2 is the reason why you got to Captain America and the Avengers. But people can double check that if you want. I know that full story. I'm leaving out parts. But so that's what Sony's doing. Now you do have a group of people, that don't want this. Okay. And part of it is, and we'll kind of move into it. Well, yeah, but so don't be shocked. Don't be shocked at all if and when Sly Cooper, number one, gets announced. And number two, they say it's also going to be ported over to the Switch. Just don't be shocked if and when that happens. I'm serious. I don't want to hear you crying. I don't want to hear, you don't understand. You need to be bracing yourself. Like Chocolate Thunder said, I'm telling you to get it ready. I'm just letting you know, you better get it ready because this is going to happen, especially with these games where something's hopping and jumping and skipping and singing Yankee Doodle Dandy. I mean, there's no reason for them to just put that on the PlayStation. They can put that game everywhere. So I expect Sly Cooper to go to PC. Maybe I think it'll go to Switch first, and then maybe 6 months later, 10 months later, it goes to PC. So that way you have a pretty good time with it. And you can wait and get it on sale. In the PC community, they're idiots. They bought 4090s and are playing some game called Banana. That's what I put up on Twitter yesterday. How you going to pay for a whole rig that costs over $3,800, but then you're going to play a game called Banana? I mean, what are we talking about here? That's what you got with the PC community. And remember, most of those guys are playing at 1080p. Now, they have better frames, but you all in the console space, if you have the right TV or the right monitor, you're playing at 4K. You're playing at, 60 frames, possibly 120 if you want to look at it. But Sony's got a lot of studios that can pull off a Sly Cooper game, including, I see somebody mention Blue Point. Yeah, Blue Point could do that. Housemarque had a very good video the other day, Friday, if you don't know. I posted that video in my community tab, or as I like to say, communita tab. So, yeah, we'll move on. I know you all want to talk about the Grand Theft Auto news. Like, what are you talking about? First, big shout out to all the new subs that signed up last week. We're closing in on 2,040 subs now. So that 2,100 is right around the corner. It's right around the corner. So we're on our way. Appreciate everything you all are doing. It wouldn't happen without you guys. Honestly, you all are showing up early and often, and keeping the conversations clean. Of course, that's not what the host does, and I do appreciate you all tolerating an outburst from an old Gen X man. I joined another Gen X page on Facebook, and they're talking about cartoons and stuff like that. Like, I remember all this stuff, so it's kind of fun. Waxing the nostalgia with other old folks. So, but we have a burger and shake place here. Now a hamburger and a shake is like $6. In the 80s, it was 29 cents. You can go up there, get a hamburger, a fry, and you get a hamburger for 29 cents. You get the fries for 50 cents, and you can get a shake for $1. So you go up there with $2.50 and get a whole meal back in the day. So good luck doing that now, right? So Robert Downey Jr., will Nintendo go third party next? Yes, that's what I understand, is that they're looking to put their games on PC as well. That's what they're looking to do. Now, again, 2026, 2027, because Nintendo, being a Japanese company, they're going to move really slow, like real slow to implement this. So, but everybody, I won't say everybody else is doing it because that's the wrong thing to say, is that the developers want a bigger, they want a bigger cut, so to speak. Why sell to 25 people when I can sell to 250? That's the way you have to really start thinking. So, and then, yes, it used to be that with Sega and Nintendo. They had exclusives. I still remember that. I still remember having a Sega Genesis and going in and getting games like Sewer Shark and Sonic the Hedgehog, which still is Sega. Sega still owns Sonic the Hedgehog. But Sonic is everywhere. Sonic is everywhere. They don't care. They're just a third-party publisher. Microsoft buying third-party publishers, and surprise, surprise, kept the majority, are going to keep majority of the games third-party. I mean, I want to make that clear. They may change the cadence of when they release on the consoles, but as they had to tell the Congress, they can't tell Congress, they can't go in there and lie under oath and commit perjury. They're like, the majority of these games will be on other platforms, and that's what they're doing. So when Phil Spencer, who's not in charge, he's not making these decisions anymore. So I don't know why people are living and dying and breathing by what Phil is saying. I don't understand it. Like, I don't get it. Like, can somebody help me here? Microsoft proper is now in charge of Xbox, and when that COO, I believe, came out, or maybe it was the CFO came out and said that they were going to be putting games on other platforms because there's more money to be made. In one breath, Microsoft is $1 trillion company, okay? But they got that way by doing exactly by having a bigger impact. And again, instead of saying, why sell to 25 people, you can sell to 250. Why sell to 250 people, you can sell to 2,500. Why sell to 2,500, you can sell to 250,000. It just keeps going up. And there's no reason for them not to do this. And so that's why they're doing it. So when I see people within the Xbox community struggling with that reality, so to speak, that's on them. It no longer, Microsoft is a third party. Microsoft company that owns Xbox. Xbox is a third party entity. It's no longer called Xbox. It's simply called Microsoft Gaming Studios, and the Xbox is their console to gateway you into those games. However, you don't need that. As many people say, I can get a Steam Deck. You're right, you can. All right? You can get a Steam Deck. You're 100% correct. You can get the Aces ROG or whatever it's called, ROG or something like that. Rock and Robin, whatever it's called. Okay? You can get those things. No doubt. Okay? You can get those things. And don't need a physical Xbox to do it, because Xbox is simply an ecosystem. Go back to the very first thing Phil Spencer said years ago when they announced it. What if you can play any game, anywhere, at any point on a device of your choice? That's where they are right now. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. And and to his credit, and I give Phil credit, people were like, well, the Xbox community was like, well, we want clarification and we need to know what's going on. So when Phil Spencer went on IGN and said, you will be seeing more of our games on more platforms, and you saw Ryan McCaffrey put his head down, like he walked in and found his wife on the downstroke with somebody, that's their clarification. There's nothing more to talk about. Before we talk about that, let me tell you the GTA news, okay? So apparently they being Rockstar, is trying to work with this company called Spotify to allow the gamers to put the music that they have and apply it to the game. That's what they're working on. That's my news with it. Now, this will be hard to do because they would have to buy the licenses for the games. So that's where they're stuck at right now. Like if I want to put Kumo D, A Tribe Called Quest, LL Cool J, and just put that into the hip hop channel, I want to listen to Boston, or I want to listen to Fleetwood Mac on the oldie station, so to speak. How are they going to figure that out? So I don't know if that's going to be, again, I'm still believing that they're going to use Rockstar Social, whatever it's called, Social Life, or whatever that thing is called that you sign up for, and that is going to be part of the game. Now, it's not going to be a deal breaker. It's not mine. Okay, this is just what I'm being told is that It's not that you won't be able to play the game without the Rockstar social event, whatever it's called. Okay, I can't remember what it's called, and I do apologize for that. The social status, whatever it is, but it will. Other people will be able to watch you game through this thing. I don't know if they're going to put it on the phone. They're going to put it on your computer. They're going to put it. I don't know how it's going to work because the technology is beyond me. But people will be able to physically just watch you and interact, hitting the like button, hitting the heart button, the down button, the laughing emoji. All that is. They show some of this in the game, but that was an early alpha build, and people lost their mind. The beta builds that will be shown possibly later this year, and I said possibly, one could show up at Jeff Keighley's gaming show, or something at Gamescom could happen in August. My understanding is that it's August. Microsoft's going to have more stuff to show in August, I think. So, but again, Microsoft is a third-party publisher with like 36 studios, so they need to feed their beast, okay? And that's fine. They got to feed their monster. Their monster is very big, bigger than anybody else's, and the way they're going to feed the monster, Microsoft is going to be, we're going to put games everywhere. Fine. I had no issue with it. I'm not fanboying about it. I'm the one who told you years ago that it was going to happen. Now, I did say it would go through Game Pass, which is Microsoft's in-game to get Game Pass on these other devices. So that's their in-game. How are they sweetening the pot? Well, we'll throw a little bit your way. It's like somebody who's slinging. They always give you the first hit for free. Like, oh, no, this is on me because they want you to try the product. And that's what Microsoft was doing. Oh, no, guys, you don't have to have Game Pass. No. You don't have to have Game Pass to play these games. We'll just put them on your console right now. And see, that's the way, and the goal is to create pressure so that Sony puts Game Pass on the PlayStation. No different than Sony. This is the same thing Sony's doing with the PC launches. Hey, we're going to put this game on PlayStation for a year or two. And if you all want to play them on your PCs, you're going to have to buy a PlayStation. I think this is going to work because I just can't see these PC guys not playing Grand Theft Auto. I just don't see that happening. If the net game comes out, remember, as of right now, my voice going into this microphone, you hearing it, there is no release date for PC. And if this game launches without a release date for PC, the PC community is going to go out and buy consoles. They ain't going to have no choice if they want to play. And they're like, well, we'll just wait. Yeah, but for how long? When those videos are coming in, when those screenshots are coming in, and that FOMO starts to hit, oh my goodness, you're going to see a beeline for these guys. I'm just telling you right now. Especially, again, I want to make this clear, if there's no release date on PC. So you understand what I'm saying. Number one, they're working with Spotify for each individual who plays Grand Theft Auto to create their own music station. Now, my understanding is what they originally want is if you put a rap song, a old school rock song, a however you want to put it, right? That is supposed to be sequenced into those stations on the game. However, if they can't get that to work, they may just have an app where you put your music on it and then you put it into the game and it just plays straight down that list. I've also been told that because the throwback they're going to have to Vice City is they're going to have like they're going to have some Easter eggs to Tommy Vercetti, who was played by Ray Liotta, who has passed away. God rest his soul. He did the voice for Tommy Vercetti. If you didn't know that, Ray Liotta, he's played in, I think, Goodfellas and all those type of movies. He's passed away. Played Tommy Vercetti, did his voice. So you're going to see some throwbacks to Tommy Vercetti and Lance Vance and all those guys from Grand Theft Auto in 2000. What was it, 2002 maybe, 2003 when that came out, Vice City. Jeez, I'm old. I mean, I still remember going to buy Vice City on a Tuesday and being off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and spent those 5 days. I was living in a townhouse. spent those 5 days playing that game. But so you can expect some kind of dedication to him. A throwback 80s station, my understanding is a throwback 80s station to kind of throw you back to that. That's, I mean, again, when I was in my, I say teens, when I was in my 20s and early 30s, way back weekend, it was 80s music, right? Now, the music from the 80s is over on the Classics channel. So, oh my God, I'm like, oh man, we're that old. Yeah, we're that old. So, so the music is now considered classic rock, classic hip hop, classic this, and they are on different stations now. Whereas at the 90s, that stuff is considered way back and throwback and stuff like that, because these kids that are 24, 25, 26, they maybe grew up listening to that because that's what their parents were listening to. But I just didn't realize that. I was like, oh my goodness, why y'all listen to the 90s? Because it's the way back station. I'm like, what? But anyway. So that is the GTA 6 news. So how's it gonna run? What it was running on? I'm still working on that. What if it was on a PC, if it was on a PlayStation Pro, stuff like that. But as of right now, the PlayStation Pro has not been announced yet. So it doesn't exist. So, but it's kind of like the Groom Lake test facility, Area 51. Everybody knows it's out there, but they're going to deny that it's out there, but it's there. So, moving on to the main story. Let me get some water to quench my thirst. All right, I'm back. I had to pull a Marlin Gaming Nation. I'm back. Reincarnated. There we go. All right, let's get into the commentary. Bots and ponies are struggling with a new reality, and the struggle is real. Shout out to you, Decimi. They're really struggling with trying to transition out of the console war. I've heard ponies saying things like the console war is still real, and these Xbox guys are going around bragging. It's kind of like bragging about what? It's a third-party studio. Well, they're bragging about the show they had. It was a good show. How about the first 2 games they showed will be on PlayStation? Doom will be on PlayStation. Call of Duty Black Slop will be on PlayStation. So again, Expedition 33 will be on PlayStation. See, they conveniently left that out of that show, and they were saying coming to. So it gives they wanted to give the indicator, they wanted to give the public perception indicators that these games are only going to be on Xbox and in their ecosystem. That was not true. That is literally called deceptive marketing, which is legal. I want to make this clear. Deceptive marketing is legal. They can't outright just lie to you, but they can be deceptive. So this is you go back to when they said TVs were 120 hertz, and they weren't. They were 60 hertz. However, as long as it did 120 hertz one time in 1 minute, it just had to give you 120 hertz one time in 1 minute. They could advertise. That it could do that. And it was not their fault that you thought it was doing it every second. You see what I'm saying? That's not their fault. They don't have to tell you that. They'll tell you that it does it. Okay? This like a car, they'll say it gets 43 miles per gallon. But they're not telling you that was on a flat surface going exactly 52 miles per hour. They don't have to disclose that. And it's not their fault. You just think, well, you can go out there and gun the car, get 43 miles. Nope, can't do it. No hills. No, that's how they test their cars. No hills, straight ahead, and where they wind tunnel it first and they get it out there on those tracks. So there's a Toyota plant in my state right down the road in Georgetown. They have a humongous test track. It looks like friggin' Talladega out there. It does. That's where their engineers go to test their cars. So, Vice City had a crazy cast. Lawrence Taylor, Dennis Hopper, Ray Liotta. It had, Burt, I think Burt Reynolds, I think, was in it. Rest in peace to Burt Reynolds. A lot of those guys have passed. I think Burt Reynolds was in, Jenna Jameson. I actually met Jenna Jameson, got her to sign my book, and she signed the video game. I still have that. So yeah, in order to meet her, you have had to bought her book. That came with a code. As long as you had that code, and then they searched you. And they got to that box. They were like, "What's that?" And I said, "Oh, it's a video game that she was in." Jenna Jameson plays Candy Sucks. I think that's the name in the video game. And I got her to sign the actual disc that is that game. And she was like, "Oh, this game was so fun. It was so fun to work on it and all this kind of stuff." So, so these Xbox guys and these ponies are really struggling with no console war. And remember, we talked about this over a year ago. I said these guys are going to struggle after the console war is over. They're not going to have anything to talk about. And so they're just making shit up at this point. They're just making it up. You got Post Up talking about, well, you all have always wanted Xbox games. And people literally saying, yeah, they wanted to play Gears. They wanted Spider-Man, but they believe they shouldn't have to buy a PlayStation. And it's the same. It goes back and forth. That's what Sick Humor was alluding to yesterday. Like, you all made fun of Sea of Thieves, but it's the top-selling game on PlayStation. Yes, because the casual market drives everything. Not these hardcore guys that are online constantly bitching. Okay? They represent the minority of the minority of gamers, okay? The HOTAS that I showed you at the beginning of this video, the vast majority of people don't have that. They don't, because they have these smaller scaled down versions, which is fine for you just to jump in and game. That's because that's all you need, right? You can, what I pay over $200 for, you can also get for for $60, for $30. You see what I'm saying? So these guys are really struggling at this point, at trying to find different things to talk about. They just are. And it's just, that's the way it's going to be, because they, like I said, what did I call them? Trash ass content creators. So you have these people, you add in the factor that, they're not getting Days Gone 2. They're not getting, the roadmap, which to me, Sony gave you a roadmap for the whole rest of the year. Well, what about 2025? What about it? Again, Sony knows what I'm about to say is 100% true. If you saw a game, okay, let's look at the showcase they could have put together. Phantom Blade Zero, okay, Black Myth Wukong, the Aloy Lego game. Let's just say they showed all that at a showcase. And then you found out 10 minutes after those games were shown that they'll be on other platforms. You all would scream and holler. And I know that, and Sony knows that. And if Sony knows this, and I know it, they're not going to show you anything. How do you shut things down? You just starve them of information. That's why Marlon Gaming Nation, and shout out to him, and I'm mocking him, that's why he looked directly at the camera and said, Sony not talking is making my job harder. That's a direct quote from Marlon Gaming Nation. That's it. That's a direct quote. That's not me putting words in his mouth. That's not me saying, here's what he meant. He literally came out and said verbatim, them not talking is makes my job harder. But they want to make the job harder because, again, Marlon's one of them guys that will see a game and it will be CGI. and then he will bitch about where's the gameplay. And a lot of people are like that because they're fanboys. They're not gamers. That's why I gave you an example. Go back to Marlin Gaming Nation and listen to him when they showed the Spider-Man State of Play, the original one, the alpha that they were showing. Listen to what he says. It was trash. It don't look that good. Negro, it's an alpha. Why are you doing this? He knows this stuff. That's why I just can't. I can't with that guy. You know, I just can't. But so again, if you see CGI and then they said the game, and they would say, you know, I made a game and it was called, you know, Mr. X. You know, not Mr. X. I say Mr. G, you know, and his two rabbits. This is say my game is called Mr. G and two rabbits. And I showed you CGI. People like Marlon would say, and the other fanboys would say, well, where's the gameplay? And then later on in the year, Gamescom or Jeff Keighley show, I show gameplay. But it's an alpha. You know, it's a late alpha, early beta. Guys like Marlon and other fanboys would say, well, it don't look that good. It looks like trash. Okay. Then the next year happens. Now it's 2025. And let's say in March, I put the game out and I put the game on a Sony State of Play in March of 2025. And you see the actual game being played, but then I don't put a release date. Oh, no. See, yeah, they showed the game and the game does look better, but where's my release date? So nothing is going to change with these guys. Nothing will change. That's why they're not getting any information. That is forcing them to say stupid shit. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. How do I keep an audience if I don't have no information to feed them? Well, I'll just go to Reddit and look at some rumors and put that out. Yeah, you're right, Capono. It's his job to get you hyped for these games because he's going to buy them for you, right? Right? See? So I love what Sony is doing. Don't show me nothing until you got a release date ready to pop off. And then you can add 6 months to that because just because they say it's coming out, don't mean that's when it's coming out. I mean, there was a collective. If you go and watch the GTA 6 reaction videos, you know, when you see the compilations, there was a collective, oh, man, you know, because it wasn't coming out to 2025 or something like that. So, and what cracks me up is you'll hear these same guys say something like, oh, well, it's not coming out till late 2025. Rockstar needs to take their time. Like, they have a say in this shit. Rockstar is going to take their time no matter what I think and you think. But these guys are struggling with this reality. There's nothing to talk about. I'm very interested in a video game called Exodus. I told you guys that. That's the game I'm really wanting information on. But if they're not ready to give me information at the studio, that's fine. They actually do have a dev's diary and a newsletter, that I can actually follow. But am I going to come on here and talk about it? No, because that's a personal interest in a game that's made by the creators of Mass Effect. So I'm still going, because I like Mass Effect, I'm following their work. All right? So, I'm really trying to get you all to understand, and bots are struggling with it too. I saw a pony, and that's what he is. He's a pony. Literally come out and say yesterday, attack, and I said this before, attack Star Wars Outlaws, saying it looked like trash, attacked Assassin's Creed, calling it woke, and then literally came out and said yesterday, literally on Twitter, if you buy Assassin's Creed, make sure you play Ghost of Tsushima. Looks through everything through the eyes of the console war. These guys are dying out. They're dying out. What's up, Dribble? But it is what it is, and it doesn't matter to the PC community that Herman Holtz and the other CEO, literally Herman Holtz came out and said, we're not putting games on PC day and date. what does the PC community do? They're going to do it. Like that's like 1 year they're going to do it. And like I said before, that's like saying, well, you know what? I may have a date with Taylor Swift 1 year. Okay, I may buy a new orange McLaren 1 year, and sometime down the road. See what I'm saying? And because again, they don't have anything to talk about. So their new reality is what they built their channels on is no longer going to sustain their channels. But they're struggling with that new reality. And so they're just making things up. It's that point. To that point. Sony has a relationship with Nintendo. Sony Motion Pictures is producing the Zelda movie, I believe. So there is no reason for them not to come to them and say, since we're producing this movie and you've given us the honor to do that, we would like to put one of our first party characters, Aloy, in a game on your platform through Lego. Nintendo's not going to say no to a Lego game. All they have to do is provide the hardware to put it on. Sony's the one doing the production. Lego's doing the legwork. It's the same thing. Shout out to Reforged Gaming. That's why I really like him. When these Xbox guys were literally in his chat saying, Microsoft is doing this, and this. And he's like, well, if you're PlayStation, you don't care. If all you have to do is deliver your dev kits, they're not responsible for keeping up with the servers of Call of Duty anymore. They don't have to keep up with anything with Doom anymore. All that is now done by Microsoft. And all Sony has to do is rake in the cash that they get off of it. That's all they have to do. That is good business. That's good business. Again, if I have a corner shop and Corey Massey has ice cream and he comes to me and says, can I rent 2 shelves on your cooler to put my ice cream on, and we can do a 70-30 split, I'll be like, yeah, that's fine, because all I have to do is provide the space and keep the refrigerator clean. Okay? Corey could say the maintenance for you have to maintain the actual ice cream, the actual freezer to maintain the temperature, but I'm going to be the one who's responsible for stocking it. I'm going to be the one responsible for keeping the par level. I'm going to be the one responsible for tracking what sells and what doesn't sell. And that's his job. That'll be Corey Massey's job. I'm not paying Corey Massey a dime. Corey's renting space from me, and with the rental of the space, I get a slice of what he earns. That's good business. That's what Sony and Microsoft are doing. But the ponies and the bots are struggling with this. If all you're going to say to me, this is just me, I'm speaking for myself now. I want to make sure I say that again. If all you're going to say to me is that you've always wanted these games and you all should have just bought an Xbox, if that's all you got, that's the end of it. That's the end of it. Because Microsoft has said, I can't port beg for something that's already coming. There's nothing to beg. There's nothing to port beg for. Okay? If I go to Speedway and I buy orange juice, am I port begging for orange juice? Speedway provides it for me. That's what they provide. It's my choice as a consumer to buy it. They had 2 for $3. I couldn't resist the orange juice, right? But there's nothing to port beg for. You can't beg for something that somebody is giving to you. That's the truth, right? That's why I got my water. I didn't beg for the water. If I wanted the water, I could go up there and buy it and consume. So this is all you got left. This is their struggle with the reality. You had ponies telling you not to buy the Xbox games. It's not our job to support them. It's not our job to do that. But these are the same guys who brag about their trophies in the games they play. Makes no sense. And again, I want to make this clear. This is not coming from the gamers. This is coming from the ponies, which I kept telling you guys, there's going to be more Sentinel events, meaning major events happening that's going to keep separating the two groups. because most people just don't care anymore. My generation of gamers, yeah, we grew up with Nintendo and Sega and Coleco. I mean, we had ColecoVision and Atari and Intellivision. We had all that stuff in the late 70s, early 80s. Then you had a crash of I'm sure you've heard about the video game crash of the 80s. That's what they're talking about. And the only one that finally poked their hole through, poked their head up, was Nintendo. And they single-handedly brought home console gaming back to the United States, because we were going to arcades. Okay, our parents were giving us $5, $7, whatever it was. We feed the change machine, and then you would go and play some games. You would go play games at the arcade. And then they would say, well, we'll be back in 2 hours, or we'll be back in an hour, or, whatever. You're getting dropped off at the arcade, which was at the mall. And then all of a sudden you're at the mall and you got $10, $20. Well, I'm only going to spend $5 there. Then we'll go to the food court. Then we'll try to flirt with the girls. I mean, that was us. But Nintendo brought that back with a free game called Duck Hunt. Okay, they had that. They had a free game called Duck Hunt and another free game called Mario. And it came with a little light gun that you could use. And people really enjoyed that. And then it became, so when Astrobot comes out, you got people saying, well, Astrobot 2, whatever it's called, should be free. It's like, it's not going to be free. What are you talking about? Well, I guess it could be, but it's not going to be. What are you all talking about? Your days of getting free shit are over. If you can't afford it, then don't buy it. Shout out to Dave Ramsey. You can't pay cash for it, you don't need it. It's a want. So you need to go ahead and make yourselves, be able to go get it. I mean, I certainly hope that makes sense. So yeah, they're struggling. They're struggling. It's a new reality. There is nothing to console war about anymore because I can sit here on my PC and play DCS. I can also download Gears of War. I can also do Game Pass. I could go to the Epic Game Store and purchase Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West if I wanted to. Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us. Now, all those games I just named, I believe, are PS4 games. Well, not Forbidden West. I mean, that's a PS5. No, that's a PS4. That's a cross-gen game too, I believe. So, I mean, it is what it is. And these guys have lost. What has happened is they are struggling trying to find their new identities. That's the problem. But they don't see it as that. It is Sony's not talking to us. Don't buy the games. You need to play Ghost of Tsushima before you play Assassin's Creed. Man, play them both. So, Dribble saying anything's Concord is going to be a hit. Well, it could be. Yeah, Destiny 2 or the final shape or the shape of whatever, it's doing very well. And remember, Bungie was a bad purchase. Now the same guys that told you Bungie was a bad purchase, the same ponies who said, this looks like a bad purchase, this is a bad purchase. Now they're bragging about the success of the Bungie game. I mean, that's how fucked up these guys are. Okay? If they get CGI, they complain about the lack of gameplay. They get gameplay, they say the game doesn't look that good. Then they get gameplay out of a late beta stage of the game. Then these guys turn around and say, oh, well, yeah, but where's my release date? Then they get the release date and it's like, they need to say it needs to go gold. It's got to go gold. So they always have something to come to their audience with and rage about. And that's not what the gamers are doing. The gamers are like, I looked at, what was that, Phantom Blade Zero? I'm like, all right, well, that looks okay. I have no idea what the game's about. But it looked fine. Just like, what is Black Myth Wukong about? I have no idea. Now, granted, I haven't done any homework on it, but I don't know what it's about. It may be just a myth that it's good. Maybe it should be called White Myth UConn. I don't know. So, and there's just not enough information about the game. Here's what I do know. I know I'll be playing college football in about another month. I know I'll be playing Madden in about another 8 weeks. I know I will be playing Black Myth Wukong. I know I will be playing either Warhammer or Astro. I know I will be, I can go on and on and on. I can just keep going. I know I will be playing Silent Hill. I know I will be playing, Until Dawn. I mean, how many games is that? 8 games? That's 8 games I'm at already, and we're just in June. So there's going to be a game coming out at cadence at almost once a month. Yes, some months may not have any, but starting next month, college football is coming out. After 11 and a half years, we get another college football game. And I would expect fanboys to say, well, it doesn't look that good. It looks like a 360 game. I expect them to say that because these fanboys aren't getting the games that they want. And I love it. It's like walk and go. I know it's walk and go, but I love it because fanboys should not get what they want. They're bitchy little girls complaining about stuff that they have no control over. Instead of them just coming out like I'm doing saying, hey, look, how come these guys won't look at the camera and just simply say, I want a Days Gone 2. I don't want to play a Lego game. I don't think Sony should have spent money help create a Lego game when you got Days Gone 2 out here that I want to play. That's going to give away their sense of entitlement that they do have. And they don't want to come across as having a sense of entitlement because they'll get their cheeks busted. But that's what this is about. Where's Bloodborne 2? Can somebody tell us so good about Bloodborne 1? Like, what was so good about Bloodborne 1? Why is it called Bloodborne? How come all I do is walk around and hit the triangle? I mean, what's so good about that? What is so good about that? I mean, I'm serious. You have Elden Ring DLC coming. You just got DLC for Starfield if you're playing Starfield. You see what I'm saying? So you got stuff to play. You got IP to explore. You have new worlds that they're creating for you. So, and there is, you're right, Destiny. And Corey, you need to understand that. The fanboys are both acting the same. Post Up acts just like JTAG. Okay? Because again, there's nothing left to talk about. When you're to a point where you're saying, don't support games of other platforms, it's not our job to do that. That is a fanboy. That's a fanboy. And yeah, you can put it to the Marvel and DC. You had DC fanboys saying, well, I'm not going to go see a Marvel movie. And you had Marvel fans that were fanboys saying, well, I'm not going to go see a DC movie. But most of the audience went to go see those movies. Most of us did. That's why we were able to tell you, yeah, look, Batman v Superman has got its moments, but it's not that good of a movie. And I could say to you honestly, Captain America Civil War is the better movie between those two, and they came out around the same time. Justice League came out, and it had its moments. But Thor Ragnarok came out a week later, and it's the better movie. It was the better overall movie. And they were both sequels. Now, is Batman v Superman better than Thor Dark World? Yes, it is. It is. It is. It just is. But Iron Man is better than Wonder Woman. Now you can say, well, Craig, that's your opinion. Yeah, but I'm looking at the numbers here. And Iron Man is better than Wonder Woman. It's not that doesn't mean Wonder Woman's terrible. Speaking of Wonder Woman, where's the Wonder Woman game? I'm just saying, these incels are gonna go nuts when Wonder Woman comes out because she's got a magic lasso and she's a demigod, depending on which version they push. Either she's gonna be a demigod or she's gonna be a whole god. So I don't know how it's going to work, so we'll see. What the heck is a mass? A mass is a unit of measurement, usually in bulk. What is an effect? An effect is a verb, and it usually is a reaction of something. So because of the elements of mass hit with certain protons causing positive and negative effects, they could distort space-time. So it had an effect, henceforth the term mass effect. So, and that term is not a human term. That is the term that the alien races gave what they can do. Humans call it the greatest discovery in mankind, in the history of mankind. That's all. So, what's up, D Nice? There's a culture of complaining about video games. Ironically, there's never been more great. I don't disagree. And then you'll get into, what about Sony's first party? What about them? What about them? Well, I want to know. Well, guess what? They're not going to tell you because they know you're just going to bitch and moan like a girl. That's the truth. Shout out to Jenna Hayes, who I saw in the chat. Oh, Black Myth is based in Chinese mythology. Oh, that's cool. I can go ahead and look it up then. Like I said, I hadn't done the reading. I was just being a little facetious. But men do not complain about stuff. You don't get to complain. Women can complain, and you'll say, well, it's a double standard. Yep, it is. It is a double standard. Either you, as a man, you either produce or you don't produce. You don't get the excuse. You will be declared a failure. So you either can produce results or you can't. And I keep telling people, these fanboys, and shout out to Sick Humor because he mentioned it as well. These fanboys have kept this shit going back and forth for their own best interests. It's for their own best interests, not for the sake of gaming. Xbox is in third place. That's not going to change because they bought the Call of Duty publisher. Call of Duty will still sell better on PlayStation. What changed? It was like that 5 years ago. It will be like that. It was like that last year. It will be like that this year. Black Ops will sell better on PlayStation. They don't care. All they want is to go to Target or GameStop or wherever, the Micro Center, Best Buy. They just want to be able to walk in, go up to the service desk and say, yes, you have any Call of Duty Black Ops games available. They're going to look it up on the kiosk and they're going to get on that little walkie-talkie. Dave, Michael, John. Yeah, can you bring me a version of Call of Duty Black Ops? And then they'll say, what system, please? And you'll hear them say, Xbox or PlayStation. And they don't care about who is buying it. They just don't. They don't. But at the end of the day, this takes away something for them to talk about. And that's what I like. Like, that's what I'm liking. You know. So, yeah, hit the like button, people. Yeah, Robert Downey's right. See, Justice League came out in December and so did Thor Ragnarok. And Justice League came out a week before Thor Ragnarok. And then Ragnarok came out. Well, maybe it was 2 weeks. Thor Ragnarok came out and everybody was like, wow. And Justice League bombed. It bombed. That, in essence, was the end of the DC universe. That was the end of it. PS fanboys believe that them losing a list war online is tantamount to Sony losing in business. Yeah, I know. And Sony's business has been nothing but strong. Even though and again, the numbers are out. I don't have to say that and be a fanboy. Look at the numbers that Sony just put out. Because the numbers were strong, the stock went back. The stock went up. And that's a reality. That's the reality. But yeah, think about it. They're literally trying to tear down a third-party publisher at this point. But they love Square Enix, a third-party publisher. You love Capcom, third-party publisher. Oh, you really like Rockstar Games, third-party publisher. Why is it okay for those guys to be third-party, and you not say shit, but then you say shit when Xbox goes third-party? Them going third-party represents the end of your little bitty back and forth. It does. It does. And I don't have an issue with what Xbox is doing. Like, I really don't care that they went third party. It's kind of like, okay, well, Bethesda's games have always sold better on PlayStation and Xbox, so it makes sense for them to put their games on PlayStation. It behooves them in a sense of, in a term of good business practice to do that. And yes, the Xbox community wants to say, well, yes, and those are Xbox games. Yep, and now your games are mine. Your games are mine. You think EA cares that you walk into Target and say, do you have any copies of college football for the PlayStation 5? or for the Xbox Series X. You think they care? They just want you to buy the IP. So, but yeah, it's a list. It's gone from list wars to our list says we got more than you do, but everything is going to be everywhere. So, like the Fleetwood Mac song, everywhere. So, who cares about first party? Let's just. Well, no, I think first party still, like Sean Layton said, first party studios exist so that you can see. The first party studio is supposed to make things that the third party studios can't make. That's why when I heard people saying Final Fantasy Rebirth, it don't look that good in 60 and they need to fix it again. Why are you expecting a third party to give you first party quality? Like when did that happen? When did that happen? Again, if I had a NASCAR team and my top driver is out because they got the flu or they had the stomach bug or chocolate thunder got them, whatever, and I have to put in the backup driver, I don't expect the backup driver to win. I expect the backup driver to drive like a backup driver. Like, I would just say, man, just finish the race. That's what I would say. Don't wreck the car. Finish the race. If there's an opportunity for you to boogie up to the front, you boogie to the front. But I'd rather you come in 8th place or 10th place or get a top 10 finish or a top 15 finish. I don't expect you to win the race because you're the backup driver. How many times has the starter quarterback gone out and the backup come in and been better? It's only happened one time, and that was with Tom Brady. It happened with Tom Brady, but that's an anomaly because it has really never happened before. Not really. I mean, seriously. The Giants won the Super Bowl without Phil Simms. I can't remember the backup quarterback's name off the top of my head. They did beat, I think, Denver. I think it was Denver in the Super Bowl, who the Giants beat that year with their backup quarterback. So, but I can't remember. You don't care to know what first part. Most casuals don't know. That's the whole thing. Most casuals don't know that The Last of Us is a Sony first party game. They may know it's a Sony game. They may know that it's a TV show. Like I was talking about it at work, and because there were some people who were watching the TV show. I'm like, yeah, in the video game, this happened. In the video game, I forgot their names, Bill and whatever their names are. In the video game, you could tell there was something going on between them because of the letters they were leaving for each other. If you found the letters and you read them. It's just like Mass Effect. If you read the some of the stuff you find on other planets, you learn about the League of One from the Solarians. That was kind of another team of Solarians that came before the ones that you're dealing with. You'll learn about you'll learn about all these other races that you would see. It looks like a particle accelerator happened and something came in and did something. Well, yeah, that was one of the previous civilizations being wiped out by the Reapers. But those societies had things like particle accelerators. So if you play Mass Effect 2, you'll go to a derelict Reaper and be inside the Reaper, but it'll be like, well, how did they take the Reaper down? Well, the previous cycle did this. But you gotta read the story. You got to read those things. I'll read those things in the codex. I've read all that and memorized it. So it makes the interactions more interesting because you know the history of those groups. But again, I'm hardcore. Now, if you're just a casual gamer and you play, you're not going to look at that stuff. And that's the difference. The casual gamers, which do drive the market, guys like J-Tech, Marlon, guys like that, MBG, they're pushing they think the hardcore guys drive the market. They don't. But when they're speaking to you, they're speaking from you to you. That's what they believe. They believe, well, us hardcore gamers drive the market. But if that were true, why do the majority of PlayStation gamers not have platinum trophies? Why do the majority of them, the vast majority of PlayStation gamers don't have platinums? They don't. because they're casual gamers. They're buying the game again, it doesn't say in the description, you know, in order to complete this game, you know, you must take sin with sacrifice. Let's take that. You don't sin with needs to collect all these things to collect. No, it will help expand the story if you find those things. And yes, you'll get a trophy for finding those things, no doubt. But it's not paramount to the story that you get those things. That's something you want. Well, I platinumed the game because I really liked it. Well, does that mean the person that didn't platinum the game didn't like it? But when they're talking to you guys, when they're speaking, they're not talking to you. They're talking at you. When you listen to them, they're not talking to you. They're talking at you. I talk to you. There's a difference. These other guys are talking at you. Like KRS-One said back, you know, guys used to be requested to rhyme. You know, it didn't matter if you were in the supermarket, if you were on the subway, if you was walking down the street. Guys were like, man, kick that rhyme. Spit that truth. And guys would go up there and they would give their souls, right? But now those rhymes are being pushed on you. And there's immediate pushback. I mean, you're not asking for these guys to rap. You are not. These guys are trash. Okay? I mean, they're trash. Something that calls itself a Drake from Canada thought he was going to take down one of the vanguards of hip-hop, Kendrick Lamar. Found out differently, didn't he? Now Drake's career is over. Now Drake got more money than I'll ever have. He's a successful man. I'm happy for him on that level. But he bit off more than he could chew. Insane Clown Posse got into that beef with Eminem. What's Insane Clown Posse's done? They're not doing nothing. Eminem took care of that. They took care of him. Whatever happened to that group? Remember them? Remember the band called Limp Bizkit? They got into it with Eminem. Guess what? Fred Durst is done. He's done. So, but at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is these guys trying to adjust to their new reality. And they can't, they're struggling. They're struggling. Let's just keep it 100% here. They are struggling. And that's that's the way it's going to be. They are going to struggle. And you'll continue to hear them search for things to talk about. I mean, they're going to be looking high and wide and far and left and right. You'll see it. You will see it happening. Let's see if they play the college football game. Let's see if they do that. That's a huge AAA IP coming out in a few more weeks. Let's see how much they talk about it. I'm going to start talking about the college football game probably on Juneteenth, the 19th. Everybody's off, I believe. So that'll be my next podcast. And we'll talk about the college football game, and we'll do a deep dive into it. I got to get my notes ready. So you'll have 60 frames no lag on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, I'll be doing my podcast at 9:30 in the morning. So, yeah, the PC dudes having to sign in the PSN. Oh my God, look at what we're doing. I mean, yeah, this like I said, bunch of bitchy little girls that are playing at 1080p. If they're playing at that. Yeah, you don't get why PlayStation has issues regional with Steam. Because they're going to start competing with Steam through Epic, and they're just letting people know, hey, Epic, one reason Epic is so successful is because the CEO just let the PC community run shotgun over them, like the Wild Wild West, and they're not going to be able to do that with Sony being in there. Sony is going to dictate what happens with their IP, and the PC community is pissed off about it. Like, they're not used to that. They're being reined in. Well, I'm just going to wait. Okay, if you want to wait for 2 years, you wait. That's the truth. You wait for 2 years, you wait. Everybody else will be done. You know, these guys were saying, look how good Ghost of Tsushima looks. Yeah, we played that, in 2020? You on it? You're just now getting your hands on it? 2024? What are you talking about? So about anti-monopoly, there are no monopolies. You could argue that Microsoft was going to have a monopoly, but since they're putting games on all platforms, there is no more monopoly. They're doing the same thing Square Enix and Capcom does. Capcom makes games, puts it on all platforms. Microsoft's doing it too. Now, their fanboys don't like it because they got nothing to go back and forth with. And that's their new reality. They have to figure out their new reality. PlayStation's fanboys, they're going to have more games than at any given time, any point in history in that ecosystem, and they need to embrace that. But instead, they're more upset. With the games coming over because now they don't have nothing to talk about. They're being, well, you all are port begging. No, the games are voluntarily coming over. Meanwhile, we know that the Xbox community is port begging for Helldivers 2. That's just a fact. That's a fact. They are begging for Helldivers 2. Why? Fear of missing out. That's the truth. Any game you ever played is a new game to you, understood, but it's nothing to brag about when somebody has already fucked that bitch 4 years ago. There ain't nothing to talk about, nothing to brag about. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad that they can play it, but they had to wait 4 years. And again, I'm not complaining. I mean, the game does look great on PC. I've seen it. I've seen it running, and I'm like, oh, it looks really good. That guy had a 3070, and I'm like, oh, the game looks real good. I mean, it does look good, so... I'm not complaining about the game. I'm saying there's nothing to brag about. There's just nothing. But guys, it's 11 o'clock Eastern time. It's time for me to ring the bell and start getting ready for this today. Going to watch a little WNBA. Watch this Caitlin Clark girl play. And I think she plays at high noon. I think it's high noon. So it is what it is. And I'll watch that. And I'm going to fly some more on my flight sim with my new stick. Trying to get used to the new stick and all its idiosyncrasies. So it's fun. It's difficult, but it's fun. And Microsoft has so many studios, they wouldn't make any money with Game Pass. Well, yeah, but Game Pass is not sustainable, and not with their. They need about 60 million Game Pass subscribers on their boxes, not including PC. Because I have Game Pass, but it's on PC. So what we call PC Game Pass, I guess. That's what I have. But they don't count that. They count the PC guys as a unique set of users. So they just, I don't know. It's crazy, but that's the way they do it, right? So, but all right, guys, I am going to bounce. You all have a good one. I'm sure there's other people you're going to be listening to later on. But I'm telling you, listen to how these guys are struggling with what's happening. The new reality that the console war is over and that they're just going to have to wait for stuff, and they're on Sony's timetable, not theirs. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you. Have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you Wednesday. Oh, I'm sorry. I will talk to you Wednesday and Tuesday night as well on 60 Frames of Lag. Deuces.